must forge my own secure kingdom. Right here in Tianhai City. Without relying on anyone, I can confront any external crisis that may come. Zhang Yi solidified this conviction. Soon, he led everyone back to Tianhai City. This time, he took the initiative to oversee the city's reconstruction. Liu Karen was tasked with building an ultra-fortified stronghold centered around the shelter. The scope extended far beyond the shelter itself, spreading outward to expand the secure zone. Beyond that, the journey to Edo served as a stark warning to Zhang Yi. For far too long, he had been surrounded by too few people. Only Liang Yu and a handful others could serve as assistants in combat. When facing large armies, this made him vulnerable. Take the battle against the evil demon, for instance. That entity's inherent power likely never exceeded 16,000 points. Yet, by leveraging the entire population of Edo City, 500,000 souls, it managed to threaten Zhang Yi through a nomadic warfare strategy. He began to shed his inner disdain for ordinary people and low-tier mutants. Even in wars between high-level mutants, low-level ones weren't entirely useless. Special abilities could create unexpected effects. And a large number of ordinary abilities users, if their numbers were sufficient, could also influence the battlefield situation. This was Zhang Yi's current understanding. Therefore, he decided to build his own mutant force, the Volt Shadow. The Volt Shadow Troop project was entrusted to Yang Xinxin for development. The training grounds were established 100 kilometers southeast of the shelter. Using a chemical plant as their base, they built a training school for mutant. The first batch of trainees numbered only 30, all handpicked from across Tianhai City as the most promising talents. Among them were Xiao Honglian, the former leader of the survival base, along with Xing Tian and Lu Dehai. After all, among Tianhai City's mutants, they were considered exceptionally gifted. With proper training, they had a strong chance of becoming deputy captains or even captain-level mutants in the future. The training instructors were by Li Changqing, Wu Di, and others summoned by Zhang Yi. Yang Xinxin served as the principal, overseeing overall training and the most critical aspect, brainwashing. According to Zhang Yi, raw power wasn't paramount, loyalty was the absolute priority. They must possess absolute obedience to Zhang Yi's commands, even at the cost of their own lives. Only such individuals were usable. Otherwise, powerful renegades who defied Zhang Yi's orders would only bring trouble. For training, Bai Li Changqing and Wu Di introduced the most formal Yan Yunwei training methods. Physical conditioning, weaponry, close combat, and specialized skill training would cultivate their foundational abilities while enhancing individual strengths. To demonstrate support for Zhang Yi, the Deng family's technology, which Zhang Yi had spent considerable time developing, provided mature gene-enhancing drugs to rapidly boost their combat capabilities. Outstanding individuals among the mutant could also receive Earth Centipede origin from the Earth Centipede farm. It could be said that every resource available to the Volt Shadow Troop represented the absolute pinnacle of Huashu Kingdom's capabilities, even surpassing the standards of the regional investigation teams. Soon, the strength of the first 30 recruits underwent a tremendous leap. The most gifted among them surged ahead, their ability indices soaring to 7,000 points. Beyond this, cultural education was naturally essential. Of course, these weren't ordinary humanities or geography lessons, they were standard brainwashing courses. The instructor was none other than Ma Wenjing, the merchant Zhang Yi had rescued from Rock Flow Island. The 30 members of Volt Shadow's very first training class gathered in a classroom at the academy that morning. Though called a classroom, it was actually a larger tiered conference room. The 30 mutants sat scattered about. Compared to just a month ago, they now looked like completely different people. Each radiated a vibrant energy. Having achieved tremendous growth in their abilities within just a month, their faces brimmed with pride. As recently as a month ago, some among them possessed only rudimentary control over their supernatural abilities, offering little advantage over ordinary people. Now, however, they had all long since distanced themselves from the ranks of the common folk. We are the chosen ones of heaven. Many members of the Volt Shadow Troop held this belief. Only Lu Dehai and his peers, having followed Zhang Yi longer and holding high-ranking positions within the three major bases, appeared markedly more composed. Compared to the newly awakened trainees, they understood far more clearly the vast gap between their current strength and that of the individuals within the shelter. They possessed no grounds for arrogance. Yet whether it was Xiao Honglian, Xing Tian, or Lu Dehai, each yearned intensely for the day when they too could stand as Zhang Yi's right-hand men, like Yu Jiguang and Su Chunlei. Lu Dehai raised his wrist, rolled back his sleeve, and glanced at a solid gold Patek Philippe watch. 8:50. Almost time. A man with messy long hair and an ordinary appearance leaned in from beside him. Brother Dehai, what are you looking at? Checking the time. Lu Dehai lowered his sleeve, reluctant to let others see his wristwatch. After all, he was practically the only one still into such things these days. Glancing toward the classroom door, he murmured, "The instructor said yesterday they'd schedule cultural classes for us today. I wonder what they'll actually teach us." The long-haired man, Wan Ping, rubbed his stubble-covered chin and said with a puzzled look, "Yeah, aren't we being trained to fight? What's the point of cultural classes?" Xing Tian, not far away, chimed in with a playful laugh, "Hey, old Zhang can't escape the trend these days. Just like those companies back in the day, bored out of their minds and forcing all this nonsense on everyone. They think it builds team spirit, but it just annoys the hell out of us. Let's just sit through it." He couldn't care less about this cultural class. Xing Tian was already prepared to watch movies on his smart device during the lecture. Just get through the class, that's all that mattered. Lu Dehai shook his head. No, it's not that simple. Frowning deeply, he pondered earnestly, Mr. Zhang is an exceptionally intelligent man. He wouldn't engage in such empty formalities. Whatever he does must have profound reasoning behind it. Xing Tian scoffed, now that's borderline idol worship. Lu Dehai chuckled. Mr. Zhang truly is my idol. As the two chatted, the classroom door swung open. Bai Li Changqing's imposing frame appeared in the doorway. Every Volt Shadow student instantly sat bolt upright, their backs straight as telephone poles. After a month of training, Bai Li Changqing showed none of the patience he displayed before Zhang Yi. He drilled these trainees to the bone. He pushed them to the brink of collapse, yet their combat ability skyrocketed as a result. Bai Li Changqing came to a halt at the doorway, his icy gaze sweeping across the room. Every trainee felt as if needles were pricking their backs. Just then, another figure emerged from behind Bai Li Changqing. A man barely 5 feet tall, unremarkable in appearance, with neatly combed hair and clad in a thick overcoat, stepped onto the podium. His coat was oversized for his short frame, lending him a slightly comical air, like a child wearing an adult's clothes. Xing Tian murmured, "Isn't that Ma Wenjing?" After arriving in Tianhai City, Ma Wenjing had been assigned to Xing Tian's Qingpu base, where he'd been assisting Xing Tian with its management. Over time, the two had developed a solid working relationship. Under Ma Wenjing's professional management style, the Qingpu base had taken shape and functioned effectively. Ma Wenjing stepped onto the podium, smiling as he surveyed the defiant, unruly group of mutants below. Clasping his hands together, he announced cheerfully, "Folks, I'm your political education instructor, Ma Wenjing. I trust some of you already know me. Starting today, I'll be teaching you courses related to ideological and political education." Hearing this, murmurs of discontent rippled through the crowd of mutants below. Some began whispering complaints. Sure enough, the same old routine. So boring. Lame. Does he think we're 3-year-olds? They weren't children anymore. They'd heard and seen this kind of routine countless times before, and no one took it seriously. Only Gao Tianwu, who had just returned from Xinjiang, took out his smart device earnestly, intending to record Ma Wenjing's lecture for later review. As a relative newcomer to Tianhai City, his seniority was low, so he'd remained low-key since his return. Accumulating strength for a decisive breakthrough, making a stunning debut, that was his approach. Ma Wenjing's expression, however, turned serious. As you all know, after the glacial descent, humanity across the entire planet faced immense hardship. Countless compatriots perished in that brutal catastrophe. We are fortunate to have survived to this day. But over these past 3 years, has the world truly been as peaceful as we imagined? Ma Wenjing looked around at the assembled crowd. Everyone instinctively lowered their heads, lost in thought. Though they hadn't left Tianhai City, that didn't mean they were completely ignorant of the outside world. This was largely thanks to Yang Xinxin deliberately spreading certain information. There was no need to exaggerate anything, for the outside world was inherently perilous. Beyond Tianhai City, while Blizzard City held dominant control, the entire Jiangnan region was rife with warlords and mutants. Those vicious insubordinates were utterly brutal, killing as easily as eating, literally. In an apocalyptic age of scarce resources, consuming human flesh had become a common occurrence. Beyond the Jiangnan region, the situation only grew worse. The sole reason they had survived 3 years relatively unscathed, facing scarcely any life-threatening crises, was simply because they lived within Tianhai City. Ma Wenjing declared, "Exactly. I believe everyone here understands the reason. The reason we enjoy this safe haven is because Tianhai City has a great guardian deity, Mr. Zhang Yi." Though these words sounded like pure praise, not a single person present could refute them. They all nodded in agreement, wholeheartedly endorsing Ma Wenjing's statement. Given Zhang Yi's illustrious achievements, even the most lavish praise would be well-deserved. It was precisely his presence that had made Tianhai City a sanctuary in the post-apocalyptic world. Ma Wenjing continued, "The establishment of the Volt Shadow Troop aims to uncover more talented individuals. Under Mr. Zhang Yi's leadership, we protect Tianhai City, our peaceful home. It is also to protect ourselves. Looking across the entire world today, Mr. Zhang Yi stands among the most powerful mutant individuals. Not just anyone gets the chance to be by his side. You have been given this opportunity to join Volt Shadow solely because Mr. Zhang Yi remembers old ties and has shown you special consideration." The 30 individuals below remained unable to refute these words. Talent? While truly exceptional mutants might be scarce, within Blizzard City, those possessing strength akin to Bai Li Changqing were far from rare. A single word from Zhang Yi would have them scrambling to join the Volt Shadow Troop. Ma Wenjing stated, "Therefore, the purpose of this ideological education session is straightforward. I'm being completely open with you all. First, a unit guided by ideology will possess stronger discipline and combat effectiveness. Second, it's to establish a unit of mutant individuals centered around Mr. Zhang Yi, one that is absolutely loyal to him. Everyone here is an adult, there's no need for beating around the bush. Being clear at a time like this actually makes it easier for everyone to accept." Yet no one spoke. Many could recite such grand principles. If Ma Wenjing offered nothing beyond this, he'd remain little more than a human megaphone, relaying messages for Zhang Yi and other shelter leadership. Ma Wenjing remained unhurried. "Starting today, we will hold a session every 3 days. And as the Special Forces unit dedicated to Mr. Zhang Yi, I will establish a set of regulations unique to you." As he spoke, Ma Wenjing clenched his right fist and placed it over his heart. "From today onward, this gesture will become the emblem of the Volt Shadow Troop. Clench your right fist over your heart and declare, for the supreme glory. Now, everyone, follow my lead." Ma Wenjing looked at everyone with an encouraging gaze. Bai Li Changqing naturally placed his right fist over his heart, then turned to face the 30 men. Seeing this, the others began to learn the gesture one by one, placing their right fists over their chests. Ma Wenjing declared, "Supreme represents Lord Zhang Yi. From now on, you are forbidden to speak his name directly. This is a sign of respect. Now, please repeat after me, for the supreme glory." Ma Wenjing's expression grew solemn, all traces of a smile vanished from his face, his voice crisp and decisive. Scattered voices echoed from below. "For the supreme glory." Ma Wenjing continued to watch them with an encouraging expression, leading the chant again, "For the supreme glory. For the supreme glory." Once, twice, 3 times, the group's voices grew louder with each repetition, shedding their initial awkwardness and indifference. The voices of 32 individuals filled the classroom, blending together with powerful resonance. Under the influence of this atmosphere, one instinctively wanted to raise their own voice to blend in with the group. Otherwise, they would stand out as an outsider. Ma Wenjing nodded, offering words of encouragement. Good, very good. From today onward, all members of the Volt Shadow Troop must greet each other in this manner. We must engrave this action and these words into our minds. Xing Tian spread his hands in exasperation. Hold on. Everyone's gaze followed Ma Wenjing's to land on Xing Tian. He wore an expressionless smile. Ma Wenjing. Noticing by Li Changqing's stern expression, Xing Tian changed his tone. Oh, I mean, Instructor Ma, what I meant was, using such childish routines as a ritual is one thing. But making us perform this awkward ritual daily. That's taking it too far. Ma Wenjing's expression instantly darkened. Xing Tian. Mind your language. Xing Tian was startled by Ma Wenjing's sudden outburst. He glanced around at the other trainees, many of whom were glaring at him with displeasure. It seemed everyone resented him for stepping forward as the scapegoat, disrupting their newly heightened enthusiasm. Don't you find this strange? Ma Wenjing took a deep breath, then pointed toward the door. Xing Tian. What do you think the Volt Shadow Troop is? It's the private military force of Zhang Yi, the world's most elite warrior. We are destined to stand at the pinnacle of the world, achieving legendary fame throughout all of humanity. Such a force requires mature and unyielding rules, yet you treat it like a child's game. Now, I demand you leave this classroom immediately. Ma Wenjing pointed toward the classroom door. Xing Tian hadn't expected Ma Wenjing, who had always been kind and gentle toward him, to lose his temper like this. This was clearly just a meaningless, formality-based cultural education class. But when he looked around for approval from others, he found more and more people glaring at him. Xing Tian, you should leave now. You shouldn't be disrupting our mood at a time like this. Do you just love being the one to stick their neck out? Xing Tian's face darkened. For a moment, it felt like the entire classroom was rejecting him. Even those who hadn't voiced their opinions wouldn't step forward to support him. Xing Tian walked out the back door of the classroom, feeling resentful. After his departure, genuine smiles spread across many faces. It seemed as though expelling Xing Tian, this outsider, from the classroom was a major victory for their collective. For the first time, they felt a strong sense of organizational identity toward the Volt Shadow Unit. Good. Now that the troublemaker has been driven out. Our lesson continues. The Volt Shadow Troop will become the pride of all humanity. You will be admired by billions. And all of this is built upon your allegiance to the Supreme. His radiance will envelop you. Therefore, the first lesson of this course is the supreme instruction that everyone must henceforth obey. The Supreme's orders are the ultimate command. Ma Wenjing's ideological and political class commenced for the first batch of members in the Volt Shadow Troop. When individuals integrate into a collective, it's like water flowing into the ocean. They quickly develop a sense of collective honor through shared goals and beliefs. Or perhaps, in such an apocalyptic era, faith serves as an excellent placebo, helping people find purpose to survive and offering solace to the soul. Outside the classroom, Xing Tian, who had been sent out, scratched his head in confusion, feeling utterly baffled. Yet, hearing the synchronized voices inside the classroom, a hollow feeling settled in his heart. It was as if he had been completely excluded from the collective of Volt Shadow. Unavoidably, a sense of dread began to stir within him. Even if he refused to admit it, the thought of potentially facing rejection from the entire Volt Shadow Troop henceforth stirred a nagging unease within him. After the class ended, everyone chatted and laughed as they exited the classroom. Compared to the relatively dry and arduous training, this course felt much more relaxed. Ma Wenjing possessed excellent eloquence and a pleasant speaking voice, and they had begun to enjoy this type of class. But when they spotted Xing Tian outside the classroom, their expressions turned slightly awkward. Xing Tian, how's it feel being out here? One of the mutants asked with a smirk, while those nearby wore mocking expressions. Xing Tian twisted his mouth. Go play your games. He turned his head away, ignoring the teammates' taunts. An invisible barrier seemed to form between them. Xing Tian didn't leave but waited outside the classroom. He stayed until Ma Wenjing finally emerged, then approached him. "Teacher Ma, can I speak with you?" Xing Tian asked. Ma Wenjing looked at Xing Tian and smiled. "Of course. I'm really sorry about what happened in class earlier. You know me, I didn't mean anything personal." Ma Wenjing gave him a deep look before replying earnestly, "Xing Tian, we've been friends for a long time. But our days at Qingpu Base are in the past. Now you're a member of the Volt Shadow, and I'm your teacher. So I hope you'll maintain a proper attitude during class." With that, Ma Wenjing broke into a smile. "Of course, after class, we're still friends." Xing Tian nodded. "I know." Though he said this, a lingering sense of reluctance remained in his heart. Ma Wenjing continued, "You should understand that the Volt Shadow Troop is a unit the Supreme Authority invested immense effort to establish. Its importance here is self-evident. If you refuse to cooperate with the training here, isn't that defying the Supreme Council?" Xing Tian's heart skipped a beat. Though he and Zhang Yi were old classmates, he knew Zhang Yi's character well. Anyone who broke the rules on such critical matters would face Zhang Yi's full wrath. He hurriedly replied, "I know I was in the wrong today. I'll change from now on. Please don't tell him about this." Ma Wenjing looked at Xing Tian, a deep, amused smile playing on his face. "I'll give you one more chance. Make the most of it." He gave Xing Tian a pat on the shoulder before turning to leave. The next day, everyone noticed a marked change in Xing Tian. He had become the most zealous defender of Volt Shadow's order. He shouted slogans the loudest and publicly reprimanded any Volt Shadow members who appeared slack or unmotivated. Faced with this transformation, Ma Wenjing offered direct encouragement, publicly praising Xing Tian's loyalty to both the Volt Shadow organization and Zhang Yi. Yet Zhang Yi remained completely unaware of everything unfolding here. He was too occupied to manage all affairs across Tianhai City. Consequently, Yang Xinxin had been handling everything, including personally overseeing Ma Wenjing's training. Zhang Yi's primary focus now was developing the Tianhai City Sanctuary. Centered around the shelter, the base was expanding in concentric rings outward, gradually increasing its area and defensive capabilities. Moreover, he had broken free from his previous mindset. To address the labor shortage, he began opening Tianhai City's borders, permitting migration from other cities. The effect of this policy was immediate. Zhang Yi's fame throughout the Jiangnan region needs no elaboration, his name is known to every soul. In the past, however, he barred outsiders from entering Tianhai City to prevent troublemakers from stirring up chaos. He himself had no desire to act as the region's enforcer of order, making the complete sealing off of the city the optimal choice. However, to establish the Tianhai City Sanctuary and prepare for potential future aerospace projects, he now needed to increase his labor pool. News of Tianhai City's opening quickly drew massive influxes of outsiders. Everyone yearned for Zhang Yi's protection. In just over a month, Tianhai City's population surged from 10,000 to 80,000. And more people from farther away were steadily arriving. Tianhai City now possessed abundant resources, capable of sustaining a population of up to 300,000 while providing relatively comfortable living conditions. Under extreme conditions, it could accommodate 1 million people. However, Zhang Yi's short-term plan was to first accept 100,000 people. Only after the initial phase succeeded would he consider further opening the borders. Solving the two major challenges of population survival, food and energy, was no great difficulty for him. Through his cultivation, a group of ability users with auxiliary attributes emerged in Tianhai City. Those like Li Jian, with plant attributes, could accelerate the cultivation of crops. The extraordinary individuals in the coastal areas could enter the ocean to fish without protective gear, providing Tianhai City with a vast and continuous supply of food. Lu Dehai had previously briefed Zhang Yi on this matter. Lu Dehai stated, "I come from a fishing background. Back when I worked the coast, a single fisherman could haul in 1,000 pounds of fish in just half a month. With thousands of able-bodied men from the entire Chaoyu base capable of fishing, if each catches 1,000 pounds, we could bring in over 1,000,000 pounds of fish in just 2 weeks. Zhang Yi clapped his hands in excitement, exclaiming, "Awesome! However, I believe deep-sea fishing vessels would be more efficient. The existing machinery is outdated. The fuel era is officially over. We'll replace it with yuan stones. I'll have Liu Karen retrofit the port ships. That way, energy won't be a concern. You can go fishing just like in the old days." In such a cold environment, coastal fish have dwindled significantly. To catch large quantities, one must venture into the deep sea. The construction of Tianhai City was in full swing. Once Zhang Yi decided to establish the Tianhai City Sanctuary, he had to tackle every aspect comprehensively. This included cultivating his own team of extraordinary individuals, building more bases to accommodate a larger population, and constructing fortified cities. He delegated most of these tasks to Yang Xinxin and Zhou Qir to manage. Zhou Qir was a highly educated returnee from overseas, while Yang Xinxin's intelligence was beyond question. Both possessed considerable talent in these areas. Zhang Yi himself, however, focused more of his energy on enhancing his own strength. The more he studied the Heart Sutra, the more he sensed its profound subtlety. If, in the past, his quest to improve his abilities felt like groping for the path ahead in a fog, the Heart Sutra, however, were like a lamp he'd been given, illuminating his path and drastically shortening his time. This world didn't revolve around Zhang Yi. While he was busy, others were also striving with all their might to enhance their own abilities. The emergence of the Yuan Stone vein wasn't a coincidence. More wondrous things were beginning to surface in this world. Just as Zhang Yi had anticipated, though he had seized most of the Yuan Stone veins in Ghost Valley, the Xinjiang region still possessed other reserves sufficient to sustain its daily operations. Meanwhile, beneath the surface of the once quiet city of Blizzard City, dark currents were stirring. Beneath the new command center, within the laboratories of the research department, Zhu Zheng descended a long vertical ladder into a space 100 meters below ground. Dressed in crisp military attire, he strode forward with the confident gait of a dragon. Inside the lab, researchers in white coats bustled about their work. Upon seeing Zhu Zheng approach, they merely offered a brief greeting. Zhu Zheng paid it no mind, proceeding directly along familiar paths to the laboratory's deepest recesses. Before an organic glass window stretching dozens of meters wide and nearly 10 meters high, Research Department Director Li Lingxue stood with her arms wrapped around her ample chest. Her long hair was casually pinned up with a ballpoint pen. Eyes peering from beneath black-rimmed glasses fixed intently on the laboratory ahead. Zhu Zheng approached, his gaze betraying unmistakable tension and excitement. This powerful elder had not felt such overwhelming emotion in a very long time. Inside the laboratory, a massive transparent tank held a beautiful young woman suspended in green nutrient solution. Her body was completely naked, her long hair drifting like seaweed. Her eyes were closed, as if she were a sleeping fairy from legend. "Well?" Zhu Zheng asked, his voice trembling. "Is our experiment finally succeeding?" Zhu Zheng's voice trembled slightly as he spoke. Such immense sacrifices had been made, all to cultivate this ultimate weapon. Another failure would feel like his heart was bleeding. He refused to remain a commander in name only. Ever since Zhang Yi's promotion to Epsilon, his authority had faced a massive challenge. True, Zhang Yi never interfered with Zhu Zheng's administration of the Jiangnan region. Yet as long as he remained alive, any word from Zhang Yi carried more weight than anything Zhu Zheng could utter. Take the recent incident, for instance. With a mere casual remark, Zhang Yi had stripped Jiangnan region of its satellite control authority. Now Zhu Zheng's privileges had been downgraded to second-class status. No one could endure such a feeling. Even initially, he had felt gratitude for having a guardian like Zhang Yi. Yet, resentment had steadily accumulated within him over time. Ultimately, he resolved to break free from these shackles. Li Lingxue didn't look at Zhu Zheng. Her eyes were fixed solely on the most perfect test subject she'd ever encountered. Exactly. We're succeeding. This is the most perfect test subject. Her genes originate from that girl named Yuan Kongyue. She's a natural-born epsilon. Moreover, her cells can perfectly absorb the origin and abilities of other mutants. Though she retains only reproductive cells with half the original genes, through our continuous cultivation, her abilities will eventually approach those of the original. Li Lingxue drew a deep breath. Though her face remained impassive as ever, her heaving chest betrayed her inner excitement. Her potential is limitless. Blizzard City, Deng's technology. A golden dragon specimen lay in the laboratory, surrounded by researchers. Deng Shintong stood before the specimen, his expression complex. Laboratory Director Deng Mao stood nearby, his voice low and measured. We've obtained biological samples from this dragon. Its estimated time of survival was around 600 years ago, roughly during the Ming Dynasty. We attempted to extract its genetic material, seeking to decipher whether it contained any unique, extraordinary power. Deng Mao glanced at Deng Shintong, his expression peculiar. However, we haven't discovered the factors we anticipated that could drive human evolution. Deng Shintong closed his eyes, his right hand behind him clenching silently. Instead, we found that part of its genetic sequence matches that of Amber. Is that correct? Deng Mao nodded. That woman. She's extraordinary. Deng Shintong smiled. We've always claimed to be descendants of dragons. But deep down, we knew it was merely a spiritual belief. After all, no one truly believed they could hatch from an eggshell. But now, I might have to rethink that. He looked toward the laboratory ahead. Amber sat quietly in her chair, clad in a white lab coat. Deng Mao stated, her genes are extraordinary. This might be divine selection. We cannot obtain the dragon's power, but she can. This is also good news for you. Amber's ability, in the name of love, cannot amplify her own capabilities. Her power is purely supportive, protecting herself by craving others' affection. Therefore, the stronger she becomes, the stronger Deng Shintong, currently bound to her, will also grow. Deng Shintong gazed at Amber in the lab. After a moment's contemplation, he asked, is this experiment risky? Deng Mao lifted his gold-rimmed glasses, his eyes devoid of warmth. Any human experiment carries risks. But I guarantee her life will be safe. She herself agreed to participate. Young master, at a time like this, please don't let personal attachments disrupt the family's grand plans. Deng Shintong remained silent for a long while. He walked to the laboratory, placed his hand on the one-way glass as if to touch the girl's cheek. After a moment, he lowered his hand and said in a deep voice, the experiment must proceed only under the condition that her safety is guaranteed. If possible, he would never risk another's life. But the world had changed. It had grown crueler, more merciless. The Deng family would not stand idly by while Zhu Zheng's men carried out their deeds. In such a world, if the Deng family wished to survive, they must become ruthless.